What's going on, guys? So today begins the start of a new project. So I recently sold the white extended cab and now starting on the single cab. So if you guys remember, I picked this truck up, or I didn't pick it up. I got it from Oklahoma City. It was delivered to me, or to my shop, I guess. I already started tearing it down. It just came with the cab and then the roller. This is a 2006 2500 HD gas truck. So it's also two-wheel drive. So we're gonna have to do the four-wheel drive conversion, which is going to consist of a couple brackets that I have to cut off of the other single cab. So obviously this is gonna be one of our alignment points right here. This is where we'll push a bushing through for the front diff drop. And then right here as well is where the front diff will also mount. So two reference points to start from, and then the rest will have to be cut in and welded on. Now you would almost deem it more logical to finish up one project before the other. So there's still the crew cab here with all the parts sitting behind the K30, which is also a part. But this project isn't really mine, it's my father's. But this, on the other hand, we are still waiting on a frame. So once the frame comes in, then we can start doing the rest of the stuff. But as luck would have it, the day that I want to start working on this is the day that it doesn't start. So luckily, a couple days ago, since my girlfriend has the new truck, she is letting me drive her Cruise to work while I tear this guy down. But yeah, the starter, or at least the lead for the starter, I don't know if you can see it, but it burned up and fell off. So yeah, super cool. So I'm gonna have to manually push it in. So I'm gonna figure out a way to get the other single cab in here, because obviously it's not gonna start with the starter being like that. And then I'm gonna start plugging away at tearing that thing down. The other thing is I'm gonna have to swap the whole dash and all the interior harnesses out. So the doors, the door harnesses, the locks and all that other stuff. Since this is an 06, all the harnesses are different. So, and then the dash, you know, it's got a 2500 gas cluster in it. So it's got, you know, 6,000 RPM, different temps, all that other stuff. The steering wheel's different, the airbags are different. So basically the whole cab's gonna have to be pulled out. So the stuff that I'm gonna be saving from the LB7 will be the axles, or the axle, the front diff, the drive shafts, all the wiring harnesses, every single wiring harness, the core support, the hood, and basically the entire interior. So the entire interior is going to get swapped from that truck over to this one. So that's enough jibber jabber. I'm going to start pulling the rest of the crap off this frame here, and then I'm going to pull the other single cab in and start tearing that guy down. So basically everything's coming off except for the items that make it roll and the cab. And after that's all done, we'll roll it back outside, and I'll roll the other truck in here and start taking that apart. E-brakes are optional, just like safety glasses. Pop that sucker out, the cab can come off. Just let Jesus take the wheel if the brakes fail. So we are temporarily taking the cab off, just so I can get the harnesses and the fuel lines out a little easier, and then everything else as well that's between the cab and the frame. So once that's up, go ahead and pull those out, and then we'll drop the cab right back down where it came from. All right, so the cab's off. As you can imagine, it's a little shorter than obviously your extended and crew cab, so had to do a little modification here. Since the lift arm doesn't get underneath the cab itself, I had to use a board and just run it across on both sides there. But it's up, it's sturdy, it's not gonna fall. Now I can get the wiring harness off, brake lines off, the fuel tank out, and the fuel lines out as well. So all that stuff can come out, and then the cab can get dropped back down and get rolled back outside. All right, so that's the harness. So I decided against pulling the brakes to get the fuel lines. I did take the fuel lines off in a civil manner. Definitely not with a grinder. I don't know why, but it is always this fuel line bracket that the nut never comes off. Doesn't matter if the truck's from north or south, it's this one right here that runs perpendicular with the frame. The nut always jams up. So I tried getting it off already. I'm gonna put the big impact on it and see if it'll take it off. If it breaks, whatever, we'll get a new one. That's the trick, huh? All right, so just like how we got the fuel lines off, I'm gonna take these off in a civil manner as well. So put your safety squints on. Shut up, dude. Keep safe. Oh yeah. All right, next. Is annoying. So I know what you're thinking. Why are you cutting the e-brake? Well, we're from Indiana. We don't use e-brakes around here because when you do use them, they lock up and then they never come back apart. So I've never had to use one. I don't know anybody who's ever had to use one. And then most of the brake system nowadays are split up in two different sections. So if you lose one brake, you still should have two others. That's like 3 cents worth of scrap right there. So every penny counts. I'm still a broke Dutch boy. So I'm no mechanic, but I don't think you're supposed to have slap in your axles. All the lug nuts are tight. It almost sounds like the wheel bearing's fried, or the axle bearing is. Kind of weird. I would not drive that. All right, so I got the fuel tank out. And thankfully, everything in there is evaporated, or it was drained, because the whole thing just kind of dropped. So, good thing it wasn't full. Unlike my Duramax, which I just filled up last week and is still at like almost full tank, I'm probably going to end up using this tank here as a transfer tank. I'm just going to clean it up, transfer all the diesel over to it, and then I'll pull the tank out of the Duramax. But this is what you can look forward to on Southern frames. This is all original, no rot. This is your fuel tank cross member in the rear. This is your fuel tank cross member for the front fuel tank cross member. Both are super solid. And then, yeah, the spare tire cross member too, which is also solid. Yeah. A little squishy. All right. So the frame is now stripped of all the things that don't need to be on there for it to stop, steer, and move. So I ended up taking all the heat shields off because I don't want any rattling. And plus, you know, race trucks got to be light so they can be fast. So every half ounce counts. But we got the shock absorber off, the hitch, the bumper, the other shocks up front, took the tow hooks off, the actual mounts for the motor that bolt to the frame, and then bolt to the motor mounts. Everything's off the cab. I think next thing I gotta pull is the dash and the heating duct, all the duct work. All right, so the cab is completely gutted now. I pulled the dash out, sitting over there, along with the column and the duct work, because that is all completely different in the 2002. So I don't know if this is like a Southern vehicle thing, but like this is like the plastic backing that goes behind there, and it is literally just like, it's kind of rubberized. Well, it's supposed to be kind of rubberized and flexible, but this is just like junk. So that runs along your firewall. I think it counts as like an insulation. I don't know if I'm gonna buy another one or if I'm just going to dynamat it or do whatever kind of sound deadening rather instead of doing this crap, because yeah, trying to pull this out, it just like crumbles. So I don't know if this is from heat or age, but I've never seen it crumble like that. So I did find a lot of nasty freaking bugs in here though. I don't know if they're roaches. They better not be roaches, I'm gonna be pissed. But this thing is nasty. They had some hacked together wiring and whatnot down for the blower motor there. Cut that out. Dash is out. So that's all going in the garbage. And then here's the actual firewall itself. So all the ductwork mounts up through the firewall. So you got a bunch of bolts and nuts that run through here. This is where your condensate drains out for your AC. This is where your heater core lines run through right here. And then I don't remember what runs through there. Actually, my bad. This is where your dryer hooks up to for your AC, and this is where your heater core lines run through. So that's that. So yeah, cab is pretty much gutted. I gotta clean all this nasty brittle crap up. It's not too big of a pain in the butt to get out. Now I have a bunch of extra hardware. So now we're gonna get to pulling the stuff out of the actual running and driving truck, and should be fun. So this is what it's all about. This is what having your own building your own trucks is all about. Now it could be discouraging knowing that there's people out there on YouTube, people who have money that get these really, really nice trucks done, but that's not their build. That's someone else's build. All they're doing is paying for it, and their name's on the title, and they're driving it. When you're doing your own build, there's some kind of uniqueness to it. You get to learn a lot. I've learned so many new things through doing these trucks. You get to do all your own work. It can be done your way. You don't have to have some type of communication with the builder so that you guys understand and are on the same page about what you want done. And the best part about it is all this stuff is done with basic hand tools. You can do this with basic tools. You don't need a lift. I use the lift because it's available. It's convenient. It speeds things up. But other than that, you don't really need it. You can do everything on the ground with basic tools. Like those. The only not basic tool that I have is this Milwaukee Impact. And this thing's been sent through the ringer. This thing has done me far more than I expected it to do. And when I can't get things with this, I get out the old pneumatic Impact. I beat the crap out of my tools, and they do me well, that's for sure. So just some food for thought and encouragement to somebody who's looking to do their own build on their own truck. You don't have to spend crazy amounts of money, have a shop full of tools and lifts and all that other stuff. You can do it at your own leisure. Take your time doing it. It's not going to happen overnight. That's another thing. It's going to take a little bit of time, but the amount that you learn during it, it's priceless.